Is Algebra 1, Assignment 3-3. This is question number 9. So again, we have a system of equations and we have a word problem. And so we need to read through this, set up a system of equations, and then try to solve that system of equations. And this time we're going to use elimination for this because that's what this section is on. But there's any number of ways you could solve these equations. So let's read through it. So the admission fee at the amusement park is $1.50 for children, $4 for adults. So the word for here is really key for me here. And this tells me for means multiply. So I'm going to take the number of children and multiply it by 150, and that'll tell me how much money was brought in from the children. And then $4 for adults. So $4 times the number of adults, that's going to tell me how much money was made from the adult tickets. On a certain day, 348 people entered the park. So that tells me that there was a total of 348 people that came in the park. And the admission fees collected totaled, so again, that word totaled, right, adds up to $1,022. And they want to know how many children and how many adults were admitted. So again, I like to look at this last sentence here to try to find out, like, what exactly am I trying to figure out here? I'm trying to find the number of children and the number of adults. So that's going to be my variables. So if I go to my problem here, so this is assignment 3-3, number 9. Okay, and they want to know how many children, so I'm going to use C to represent the number of children. And how many adults, and so I'm going to use A to represent the number of adults. And then, so that's a good start. And so now let's look at the problem again. It tells me here that on a certain day, there were 348 people who came into the park. Okay, so 348, that's talking about the number of people that come into the park. And so if I take the number of children that came in and the number of adults that came in and I add those together, that should equal 348, the total number of people who came in that day. It also tells me that there was a total of $1,022 collected that day. Now, how do I calculate how much of that was from children and how much was from adults? Well, I know that there's that they charge $1.50 for each child, and I know that they charge $4 for each adult. So that, again, that 4 means multiply, and that tells me the amount of money represented by the children and the amount of money represented by the adults, and I have the total amount of money is there as well. So I know that they charge $1.50 for each child, excuse me, and they charge $4 for each adult, and they brought in a total of $1,022. So there's my system of equations, and they want to solve that using elimination. So I need to get those variables equal and opposite one another. Okay, so I need to pick one of the variables and make them equal and opposite. So I don't want to deal with the decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to multiply this top equation by 4. And if I did that, I'd have a 4a here and a 4a here. What I really want, though, is I want to have a negative 4a. So I'm going to take this first equation here, multiply the whole thing by negative 4. Okay, so negative 4 times everything in there. That's going to give me negative 4c minus 4a is equal to whatever 348 times 4 is, which is, and I'm using my calculator for this, 348 times 4. 1,392. That's going to be negative 1,392. Okay. So I rewrote my first equation. I multiplied it by negative 4, and I'm trying to set up this situation right here where I have a positive and a negative term right, that have the same variable. So now I'm all set. I can just simply add these two equations together. So negative 4 plus 1.5 is going to give me negative 2.5 C. The 4a's will cancel out. And then I've got 1,392 and 1,022. And that gives me negative 370. Negative 370. And so if I divide both sides by negative 2.5, I get C is equal to 148. So that represents the number of children that came through that day. Now I need to figure out the number of adults that came through that day. And so I could go back to any of my previous equations to do that. And instead of using these ones that have the 4a and so forth, I'm just going to use this one. I know that the number of children, right, plus the number of adults was 348. So I know that 148 plus the number of adults is 348. And so I can tell here that A is going to be 200. So here are my answers. Okay, so there were 200 adults and 148 children who came through the amusement park that day.